Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. We got a lot to get into today, so let's just jump right into it. Let's start with three-star linebacker Braylon Outlaw out of Pike Road, Alabama, committed to Tennessee over Oregon, Ole Miss, and South Carolina back on November the 8th. But even with that commitment, there was a lot of buzz. There was a lot of talk around Ole Miss, and you can take the On3 recruiting prediction machine. You can take their percentages and their numbers for what it's worth. But at one point, they had Ole Miss at a higher percentage odds of landing Braylon Outlaw than they did Tennessee, even with that commitment. He visited Ole Miss for their win over Georgia Southern last season. He had also returned to Ole Miss earlier in the spring for a junior day. A lot of buzz around the Rebels, but Tennessee is out front. They landed the commitment, but now you can see on Twitter, Braylon Outlaw says, thanks to every school, coach, and recruiter that has played a part in this journey. With that being said, I'm shutting down all further recruitment. Now, I get it doesn't matter till the pen hits the paper, but I think it's good when a commitment, when a player comes out and says, I am done, I am locking it down. Now, we heard this from another Tennessee commitment, five-star offensive tackle Gabriel Ascenda. Big Squish said he was shutting down his recruitment after committed to Tennessee back during the Navy All-American Bowl back on January the 11th. Then he gets bumped to a five-star, but we saw him meet with Sam Spiegelman after a Rivals camp back towards the end of the May. And that's when he said, look, I'm shutting down my recruitment. But there was some weird wording in that, right? He mentioned that Georgia would maybe be the only team that could have his ear, that could turn his head, that could draw some interest, even though he said he was shutting it down. Now, he was originally scheduled to take an official visit to Georgia, even with the commitment to Tennessee. That visit was scheduled for June the 13th. But if you go to this article, 247 Sports, it is behind a paywall. So we're not going to go through this article, but what it says is that five-star offensive lineman commitment is locked in with Tennessee. He will not take that trip to Georgia. I think this is big, keeping Big Squish in the boat. Again, a five-star offensive lineman. You've got a five-star quarterback in Faison Brandon, the number one quarterback in the country, locked in, saying he's not going to take any more visits. I think that's big for Tennessee. Made a video just recently about Tristan Keys, the number one wide receiver in the country. Go back, check that video out. There's a lot of talk that Tennessee has a good shot at flipping it. We talk about the number one running back in the country, Savion Hyder. Tennessee seems to be checking all the boxes, doing the right things. Can Tennessee put together a top five class in the class of 2026? I don't know, but they've got a lot of momentum. We're going into a big weekend of official visits. Tennessee will have 7 official visitors on campus this weekend. I'm going to talk about the big guy. I'm going to talk about the headliner. I'm going to talk about the main event in this video. Before we do that, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff for me. Smash the thumbs up right down there below the video. Quick, free, easy. It helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. If it's your first time here, welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. We don't pretend to be experts or insiders here. What we are is exactly what you guys are. This channel is for the fans, by the fans. If you like it, subscribe, click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Right now, we're live every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We play EA Sports College Football, but we talk all things Tennessee football starting this upcoming Wednesday night. Talkin VAWLS live, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Sam Pendleton, the big offensive lineman, transferred to Notre Dame, from Notre Dame to Tennessee. He's going to be in the house. We're going to get to know Sam Pendleton on and off the field, so tune in for that. The following Wednesday, we've got another guest coming on the show. We'll announce that soon. And then the next Wednesday, we've got big Anthony Aguimora in the house. So dial in, get buckled up. We got a fun month really coming up with some fun guests coming on to the Talkin VAWLS Network. So tune in, dial in. Let's talk about what I think is the main event for this weekend, and that is five-star offensive lineman Darius Gray. Take a look. So five-star offensive lineman Darius Gray will take his official visit this weekend. He's 6'3", 285 pounds, out of Richmond, Virginia. 23rd best player in the country overall. Number 1 ranked interior offensive lineman. He's the second best player out of the state of Virginia. He dropped his top 12 back on Christmas Eve. Alabama, Michigan, Virginia Tech, Tennessee, Ohio State, LSU, Clemson, Georgia, Oregon, Penn State, Virginia, and South Carolina. Now, Steve Wiltfong put in a prediction to LSU just recently, back on May the 12th. I think that is a true prediction and not a spoiler alert, right? We talk about Steve Wiltfong, the Fong bombs, the predictions, and how sometimes it's a spoiler and sometimes it is a true prediction. I think this one for Darius Gray is a true prediction because, again, there's not a decision coming sooner. And I think that's one way to read into what Steve Wiltfong puts out. So he put in that prediction back on May the 12th, has him predicted to LSU. Now, Chad Simmons of On3 has Darius Gray predicted to South Carolina. He's had that in since November the 21st of last year, and he's kind of just let it sit there. You keep an eye on these, right? You keep an eye on these as we get through official visit season and we start to see when Darius Gray is going to make a decision. You see Steve Wiltfong make a change. You see Chad Simmons make a change. Then maybe that's something to be worried about. Scouting report on Darius Gray. This comes from Andrew Ivins of 247 Sports. Says athletic offensive lineman with a dense build that has the foot quickness to lead the way on long pulls or counters and the horsepower to hold the line of scrimmage or change it. Goes on to say, ended up being one of the biggest surprises of the 2025 Navy All-American Bowl as he arrived with 34-inch arms and then was able to anchor all week against much older and larger defenders. Says he's got a relentless energy, allows him to not only be able to be a plus finisher in the run game, but also readjust and recover in pass sets. Tends to punch with authority, frequently has the upper and lower halves dancing to the same tune. Has what it takes to certainly handle one of the corners on Saturdays, but combination of brute force and rare movement patterns suggests that he could emerge as a cheat code of a guard in a zone blocking scheme. Says he might need some development a year or two to find his bearings as he levels up in competition and adjust to the speed of college game, but profiles as someone that has what it takes to blossom into an early round NFL draft pick with his basketball background and full-time two-way snaps at the prep level. So again, that's the scouting report. Andrew Ivins, 247 Sports, just a dude, a legit dude. This would be a huge opportunity for Tennessee to continue to build that offensive line. I know some people have some question marks, right? Some people have question marks about the offensive line in 2025. I'm excited about it. What's not to be excited about? I get it. It's unproven. It's concerned, but yeah, I've not seen it. I don't know. It's unproven. Guess what? That's what happens when you stack recruiting classes and you bring in the next blue chip prospect. You got 2 5-star offensive tackles in David Sanders and Lance Hurd. You got 2 guards that transferred in that have some experience, but also have some years in front of them. They could be good. They could be special. Man, this offensive line could be better. Well, what about Cooper Mays? Boogie, we lost him. And guess what? We are plugging in William Satterwhite, a blue chip prospect. So this is what happens when you stack recruiting classes, and landing Darius Gray would be huge to continue to build that offensive line. This kid's already taken a ton of visits, ton of unofficial visits. He's already got 4 official visits under his belt. He's been to Virginia, Virginia Tech, Georgia, and Clemson. Coming up on the docket this weekend, he's got Tennessee. Then he'll go to Auburn on June the 10th, Ohio State on June the 11th, LSU on the 13th, Penn State on the 17th, and then the final visit will be to South Carolina on June the 20th. Steve Wiltfong put out an update after his most recent official visit. Again, that was to Clemson. And this is what Steve Wiltfong had to say. He said, LSU and South Carolina are programs often mentioned with the Richmond, Virginia, St. Christopher School 5-star offensive lineman Darius Gray. But following another visit to the Tigers campus, you can't sleep on the ACC powerhouse. Here's a quote from Darius Gray. My experience was amazing. What continues to excite me is the ability to have everything in one building, whether that's good academics, great player development, great culture, whatever it is, they have it all. Wiltfong goes on to say Gray has trips upcoming to Tennessee, Ohio State, LSU, and Penn State, and has already taken officials to Virginia and Virginia Tech. The Tigers continue to give Gray a lot to think about. Here's the final quote. He says, after this visit, they are definitely super high on me and my family's board. So where is Tennessee at in this thing as he comes to campus for his official visit this weekend? Well, if you go back to February, Matt Ray of VolQuest said that Tennessee was definitely one of his top schools. He took an unofficial to Tennessee in March, took in a practice, spent a lot of time with Coach Hype, Coach Ellerby, some of the offensive line assistants at that time. Wiltfong mentioned Tennessee as a top contender with Clemson, South Carolina, LSU, and Michigan. Tennessee actually went in home with them prior to the 865 Live event. They were trying to get some momentum, see if they could get him on campus for 865 Live. Unfortunately, that did not happen, but he is going to be in town this weekend. And this is what VolQuest said going into the weekend. Said Tennessee will take their swing at Darius Gray, and we continue to believe that this recruitment that will ultimately be decided by official visits. They say multiple schools have held momentum in this recruitment at one point, and the Vols likely have some ground to make up in this recruitment that is sure to have some twists and turns remaining. So does Tennessee have a shot? Absolutely. Darius Gray in town this weekend. I think he's the headliner of the weekend. We'll continue to put out videos talking about the other guys that are on campus. Braylon Outlaw shuts down his recruitment. Gabriel Ascenda no longer going to take that official to Georgia, and Darius Gray is going to be in town this weekend. What are your thoughts? Jump in the comment section. Let's talk about it. As always, hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. I would greatly appreciate it. You want to further support, you can grab some Talkin Vols merchandise. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin Vols, or you can hit that join button down below. You can become a member of this channel. You get access to custom Talkin Vols emojis, fan call-in shows, all kinds of fun perks and benefits, but more importantly, you are supporting this channel. All the links to do that are in the description below. The link to the merchandise, link to join the channel. But if not, hit the thumbs up on the way out the door because it's quick, free, and easy. We would appreciate it. But that is going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin Vols Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.